Hey guys, it's the Black Sheep podcast, Holistic Health Harry.
Welcome, this is G-Man Phoenix, and we're here with a special guest today.
Special guest, Sandy Goel, otherwise known as Sadhu. Sandy Goel.
Sadhu,
Sandy G.
yes.
Ram Harish Kumar, Ram Guru Jake.
We meet again,
Hi
but in the
everyone.
context of Jake being here, Guru Jake, this is a nice way for us all to bond. And actually, you don't know a lot of Sandy's story generally. I know you spoke briefly on the
We
phone for
spoke
half an
to
hour.
each other, I think it was on WhatsApp, very briefly.
Very
Or
briefly.
Messenger, yeah.
Where we
And
was
I
high
really
on-
Is
enjoyed
that
the talk.
Yes.
it was quite long actually, Harish. It was at least a 45-minute call. So it might have
Oh,
been
okay.
short
Yeah.
for
Sorry, I thought it was
you.
much shorter than
Oh,
that.
what?
Yeah.
We spoke
It felt
about
like
so
it felt
much,
really
though.
quick. It felt like
Yeah.
it felt really quick.
Yeah, well
spoke
it would
about the-
do when you're intoxicated like that, right?
Yes, we were high guys on ecstasy, which is a
Oh,
good thing.
yes.
Yeah, but
Yeah, Harry got me onto that. He gave me the book. I have it, it's not here, but he was said it had a lot of therapeutic benefits. And he was right. He's hardly ever wrong
Yeah.
when it comes to that stuff.
So Sandy, man, so let's go back to the beginning of your story and how did you start your journey into what I'm guessing you perceive is your happy place of finding your purpose currently?
Okay, so cut a long story short, I'll try and make this as concise as possible. Um, So, as you know, Harish, Guru Jake probably doesn't know, but back in 2016, my mum had a very serious stroke. She was hospitalized for about 6 weeks. And, but luckily, there was no paralysis, or the only paralysis she had was swallowing reflex gone. But to the amazement of the doctors, 3 months after being discharged, she got that back and she started to eat normally. But I knew at the time that uh, allopathic medicine or pharma, Western, medicine protocols wouldn't get her back to wellness. So I did research. I took her here, there, and everywhere to naturopaths, natural doctors, kinesiologists, nutritionists in order to get her back to wellness.
Mhm.
And spent an absolute fortune, mainly of mum's money, not my money. And at the time, I was a security guard, which I still do now and again.
Yeah.
Um, I don't need to financially, but I still do it now and again. Anyway, um, May 2019, she gets diagnosed with very early stage breast cancer.
Mm.
And again, I went down the natural route, took her to various places, got ripped off big time. Like one guy really screwed us over for like over 5 grand. Promised he'd remove the tumor
Mm.
and didn't. And in the end, the NHS took it out. Um, she did have a serious reaction to the anesthesia because that was her first ever operation, and that was at the age of 69. But she recovered from that, and the prognosis was recovery, recovery, recovery. I've lost you. Your camera's gone off.
Recording? What happened there? Wait 1 second. Start video. What is that? Because it's hanging off the edge.
I think so, yes. Try it again.
Should we not put it on the edge?
One second.
There we
That's
go.
all
Oh,
right. I've got
back.
you back.
Carry on. You're still
Got
there.
you
Sorry
back.
about that.
Yeah,
Is
no
it on the
problem.
edge?
No
'Cause if
problem.
not, it's still to keep doing it. We could put it off the
Okay.
edge. It'll be...
No, that's fine. Anyway, January 24th of 2020, she passes away very suddenly, and this was due to a blood clot in the lung.
January 2020 was
Uh,
COVID, yeah? The very beginning of COVID.
yeah, very, very beginning of COVID. Obviously, the lockdown started 2 months later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was then from that point onwards that my life started to turn around and started to turn around quite quickly because mum was my rock, you know. she was always in the forefront of my mind. How can I improve her health? How can I make her life better?
Mhm.
And suddenly she's gone. But you know what, guys? She knew she was going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have I told you this, Harry?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
because she said to I've forgotten her name now, your sponsor
Claire,
upline?
Claire.
Claire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. She said to Claire, all right, so Claire Harvey is a flower remedies therapist. And mum used to, I used to take mum to see her, and mum loved seeing her. They became good friends. Anyway, one evening, this was like a week before she passes away. I take her to see her. I stay in the car so I don't get a parking ticket. And then I join them later. While I'm in the car,
Mm.
mum makes Claire promise that she would lead her to she'll lead me to my purpose.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Claire thought that was a really strange request,
Yeah.
but promised. Month later, Claire introduces me to Root. But I mean, Mum also knew she was going. She said some stuff like a
Yeah.
few weeks beforehand,
Mm.
which indicated that, I mean, on retrospect, that she knew she was going. Like, for example, um, she said to me and my dad, when I go to India, she's planning to go to India in March 2020
Mm.
to sort out some stuff. When I go to India, I want to buy Malika and Jasmine. Malika's my sister-in-law and Jasmine's my niece, some
Mm.
jewelry. And I
Mm.
said to her, why do you want to buy them jewelry? Because they're not into jewelry.
Mm.
I mean, none of us are in our family. We're not like that. And Mum said, well, I don't know how long I've got left. I just want to get them something to remember me by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then right, so the night she passed away, that evening, I got back home from work and I noticed she made one of our favorite curries, which
Mm.
was mutter paneer,
Mm-hmm.
right? Peas and paneer, peas and cheese. And I thought, this is weird. She normally only makes that when my brother comes over or
Mm.
we have visitors. She never makes that like when it's just the three of us at home. Now I realize that was kind of like a parting gift.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when we
So that was the
found
night
mum,
before. Sorry, the night before she
yeah,
passed.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
so I got back home at 7 in the evening
Yeah.
and we found mum at 3:30 in the morning. And when we found mum, she was like breathing as if she was in a deep sleep, like snoring.
Yeah.
Mm.
And on retrospect, I think it was because she was waiting for us, to find her, and to
She
before
held
she
out for
Yes, to
passed
longer.
on.
say goodbye.
Say
Yeah,
bye.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Crazy.
But since then, Harish, my life has completely transformed, with
Yes.
Rue
So
and
that's crazy. So to anyone that doesn't watch the stuff, and we like re-listening to this story, and Greg, you don't know the story, so
It's very resonant to me. My
yeah,
grandfather recently passed away
yeah,
as well. And
it's interesting.
to say what you were going into, what?
Oh yeah, so how
So,
was his mum? How was it? I mean, how did it transform your life, basically? So what did she do? What do you believe she did after she died that makes you believe this?
well, Mum was always worried about me,
mm,
because I was in a dead-end job as a security guard,
Mm. Yeah.
um, which I did just for the money and a bit of banter and a bit of fun, but it wasn't like something I was really fulfilled in. Um, and let's face it, £10 an hour. It's now 11.95, I believe. So it's gone up a little bit.
Wow. Yeah.
So, but um, and I was single. I
Mhm.
had no prospects. Also, I was just not fulfilled. I was just chasing my own tail, as
Yeah.
my dad used to call it. But then, a few months after Mum passes away, I started to get successful within Rue,
Mm.
and
mm,
Yeah.
that opens up more doorways and connections. I meet, you. I meet, amazing other people.
Soon to meet
But
Guru
more,
Jake.
There's no
yeah,
secret. There's no
and Guru
coincidence.
Jake, who I've become um, fond, uh, fondly acquainted with over the past 6 months or so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's been
yeah,
yeah.
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 You
It's
know,
been 6 months.
I was saying to Harry, there's no coinkydinks. I call them coinkydinks. Everything is meant to be. I think like what you described now.
Jake, I just love your vibe, man. You're just so
Yes,
cool and gentle, and
He's a
you're not.
gentle teddy bear. Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah, I love
Cancer
it.
on the zodiac apparently. That's another thing we talk about. What do you think about astrology? Not that I'm always open-minded about it. Do you think it's part of the matrix, like algorithms? We don't have to be dominated by our astrological tendencies. I
Hmm.
think they call it
Yeah,
vasanas in the scriptures, yeah?
actually, you
Vasana.
bring up a really good point, Guru Jake. I don't know much about astrology. Okay. However, everyone keeps going on about it. It could
Yeah.
be it
Yep.
could
Yeah,
be a big psyop,
Yeah.
and they
interesting.
don't they don't look. I'll be real with you.
Yeah.
I think the moon's fake.
Ah,
Got
I
yeah.
think
you. Yeah.
We talked about
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
Absolutely.
and I don't think it's natural. I think it's a big satellite which is just beaming malevolent energies
Hmm.
towards
Yeah.
us to keep us. But also Saturn. I've been hearing Saturn is a
Yes,
very malefic
Saturn return.
planet.
Yeah.
both of them.
Now,
Yeah,
Very
moon and
dark.
Saturn.
this is just my opinion, maybe my intuition, and
Yeah,
so I don't believe, I'm not discounting astrology, but I think we need to be open-minded that it could not be all it's made out to be.
Hmm.
thank you. Yeah, I'm open-minded to all angles. Just like you said, no, it could be
I think
like
you'll bring it up too
just
because me and Jacob tuned in just as you probably will, Sandy. To people that tend to focus too much on astrology as an excuse for bad behavior, as an excuse for
oh,
limitations on their personality, as an
yeah,
excuse like it keeps you in a box. If you go deep with it, you
mm,
can basically blame everything that you do wrong in this world from it, and everything good apparently isn't even your hard work or your willpower. It's just the stars,
That,
right? There's
that,
that
that
angle to it.
what do they
yeah.
call it? Spiritual bypassing.
I
Yes,
believe so. Yeah,
exactly.
spiritual
Yeah.
Yeah.
bypass. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was a prick today. It's because my stars were in
Yeah,
this
right.
position.
Oh
Oh,
wait,
it's
no,
because
you missed Mercury retrograde though.
Justify. Yeah,
Mercury retrograde.
yeah. Sorry,
Mercury
Mercury was
retrograde.
in retrograde. Oh,
I
and
forgot.
yeah, my moon is in Scorpio or
Moon's
Cancer
in
or whatever.
Scorpio.
So that
Yeah.
makes me a prick, right? Really?
Today
Okay.
I'm having a
Right.
bad day because
Yeah.
Mercury Gatorade has come onto the scene. You know, like
100%. And I've been in the spiritual community since
Mhm.
2008, and I've seen some of the most awful people
Yep.
around who
absolutely.
call themselves spiritual but are anything but not.
Yeah.
That they are not connected to the divine within. They are not connected to the love within.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are purely in their ego, and they talk the talk, but
Yes.
they don't
Yeah.
Blind
walk
Yeah.
the walk.
spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hate that crap. I
Yeah.
absolutely
I
detest
think
it.
that's
Me
something that
too.
us three share very strongly. Actually, it's really cool.
Yeah.
All
All
three of
three
us.
of us take the piss on that because we've all
Well,
seen it. I mean, we've all seen it.
yeah, yeah, and as Harish knows, I call them hypocrites.
Hypocrite.
Typical.
Yeah.
Hip, yeah,
That's
yeah,
a good word.
hippie crits,
Hypocrites.
because a lot of them are, you
Gotcha.
know, like,
Yes.
like,
Absolutely.
like if I tell you what, I noticed it during when Mum passed away. You really know what people are like when you go
Mm.
through a
Mm.
crisis like that.
Oof, I can imagine, Sandy,
Do you
because
mean?
I went
Yeah.
through
Go on.
with my grandfather,
Yeah.
but for you, even more so with your mother, I reckon, because that's a mother and a son, that relation, a daughter and a father, that's so sacred and sanctified.
Mm.
So
Well,
sorry
sorry, go
to
ahead.
not
No, go ahead.
interrupt you, what you were saying. So you know what kind of people are around you when you hit crisis, and you
Okay.
lose someone close to you, as much as your mother. I cannot imagine that because I have fears about losing my mom and dad. I lost my father 2 years ago, and I know
Oh,
it's just one
okay.
parent left, and it can come like this. So I can't imagine what that's like. I bet it's really got you into more into the present moment, man.
Well,
And more into your
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's 4 years ago, and obviously, but Mum wasn't happy, and
I understand.
she's
She was suffering.
she used to sit. What we just wanted to keep hold of her for our own security and
Yeah,
comfort,
we
you
all
know.
like that.
I was
Yeah,
saying that,
yeah.
yeah,
To
We're all here.
Harish, I was
Yeah,
saying to Harish with my grandfather, he was suffering. They had him basically
yeah, it's true.
dead. What do they call it? Where they
A
keep
life
you
support and a life support.
life
Life support.
support.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah,
was basically dead on
yeah.
in technicality, but
Yeah.
they were just keeping him on by a
And
thread.
actually, your mum was signed to get rid of to say
She
when
signed
signed not to get rid of him to sign when he's had enough. That's it, to take him off support, and they disobeyed.
and they
They
disobeyed.
disobeyed
Yeah, they
the.
kept him there.
They kept
Sadly, we
him.
think that they were maybe experimenting with medication on him and
it
keeping it
wouldn't
on the low.
surprise me.
Yeah.
Yes, it
Yeah,
won't
yeah,
surprise you, yeah. And so my mother said to them, "Give us the paperwork. We're going to look into this
Mm.
because he died from sepsis. They said he had sepsis inside him, so they kept him too long." And I thought, like you said, it's selfish to want someone your loved one to suffer and to keep them here instead of having them be free because
uh,
they're the lucky ones. I was saying to Harish, our ones that pass over, they're the lucky ones because they
Yeah.
get to experience freedom again, like the actual
Yeah.
reality. I feel, at least in my own humble perception,
Yeah.
that's beyond this one. So we know this one's a bit
yeah,
nuts in it. It's like
Mm. Yeah.
this
yeah.
reality
No,
is nuts.
no, I totally agree. And but going back to like you really know what someone is like when a crisis hits you,
Mm.
Yeah,
where,
Mhm.
where something like tragedy unfolds or something happens to your health or whatever, and some people, I won't name them, and it's no one you know, by the way, Harry.
Yeah.
um like I was very disappointed. Like they're supposed to be spiritual and
Mm.
supposed to be love and light and
yeah,
compassionate and all that, and shit hits the fan.
You know
They didn't give a toss, and it was mainly the non-spiritual community,
the come and help. They
yeah, that
care.
come and
Yeah.
help. Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's
You know,
powerful.
that's
that's
why I don't really mix with those arseholes anymore.
No,
You
you're
much
know,
of
he's a
it.
version like us too. I feel like a version of
yeah,
real spirituality. Real spirituality is being grounded and wanting. It's what you brought: is spirits, compassion, caring about people.
Yeah,
You can
empathy.
be you can be not a spiritual person and care about people deeply.
Yeah,
You can also be like 5D Love, Light and Brigade and pretend you know so much and be
totally self-obsessed.
full
Yeah,
on disconnected
absolutely.
from heart space, full on egoic, prideful,
It's such a blind
crazy.
spot. Yeah,
Harish, you hit the nail on the head. It's
yeah,
all about heart space,
It
right?
is. It's how you feel. Yeah.
And
yeah.
heart space, compassion, kindness, etc., etc. And so many of them, they lack it.
Yeah.
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 You can tell.
and
Yeah.
and they're in the, oh, look at me, I'm so spiritual because I'm wearing mala beads, or I'm
He's-
wearing a bindi, or oh, I'm going to yoga tonight. Like,
yeah.
Gotcha.
And you can hear it in the voice too, right? It's not
Yeah.
just an image
yeah,
thing. When you talk to them, you can hear disconnection and ego pride in their
Yeah,
voice.
the voice in
It's
the
the voice and
eyes,
the
man,
eyes
they
give
give
away.
so much away. The
Yeah.
voice in the eyes,
Yeah.
like,
yeah, no, exactly.
Can I come back to bit
So
to your mum? So when your
yeah.
mum died, what made you think that she? I know the story. I don't know if you mentioned it in this one. That so your mum helped you, assisted you because you were working as a nightclub bouncer, and then you got involved
no,
with the
no, no,
route.
I
No,
wasn't, no, no, no.
no
I
nightclub
was working
bouncer.
at events,
Working at
Yeah,
events. I always
yeah,
get that wrong. I always get
like
that wrong.
yeah,
like exhibitions, like at
yeah,
Excel or
Got you.
yeah,
Olympia. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you were doing
Sorry,
that,
go
and
on.
then
yeah.
Mum said to Claire, look out for him, and may he find. I hope he finds." Then she died, and then what happened after she died? Like, well, the route came along
Okay,
randomly
so
through.
no, 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 no. So I went to see Claire in February 2020 for a flower remedy session
Mhm.
Oh,
to deal
interesting.
with my grief. And at the end of and she knew I was into network marketing and stuff. And at the end of the session, she said to me, "Oh, there's a new zeolite product coming out." And I
Right.
said to her, "Claire, I'm not in the space right now. Send me the details. We'll go from there."
Yeah.
Then March 2020, um, me, my brother, and my dad were due to fly out to India with her ashes.
Mm,
And thank God, I mean, obviously, COVID, convid, sorry,
Yeah.
Oh, good.
lockdowns came. But luckily, India shut the border
Yeah.
2 days before we were due to fly.
Wow. Yep.
And I tell you what, Harish and Guru Jake, I was gutted. And I even went
Yeah.
to the
Ah.
airport
Yeah.
to confirm.
Mm.
And I was watching all these because that night I went to the airport. That it was the last night that people could fly, and I was watching all these guys check in to the
Mm.
Air India thing to Delhi,
Mad.
and I
Yeah.
was so jealous of them.
Yeah.
Had
Jeez.
we gone on that plane, we'd have been stuck there for at least 2 or 3 months. And I
Yes.
gotta say, as you know, Harish, I'm not the biggest fan of India.
No.
So,
Ah, is it? I haven't been.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what it's like.
Yeah.
no, well, for me, it's different.
Gotcha.
It would have been locked down in the middle of. It would have been a nice house and stuff,
Yeah,
comfortable, but
gotcha.
just nothing to do.
Yeah.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's not good, man.
And
And they
Yeah.
strict
being
that
all,
side, right there, Sandy. Sorry to interrupt you. When lockdown in India, because I know in South Africa they were beating people in the streets, the police there,
yeah,
right?
apparently they were doing that there. If
Whoa.
they
Vicious,
caught
man.
you in the street like breaking curfew,
Yeah,
I've seen like they would literally beat you with sticks.
flailing at the
Crazy.
people, man. Flood,
Yeah.
what do you call it?
They're not
Flood.
like the cops here who talk to you first,
No.
Gotcha.
or you know.
And then beat
But
you up. Yeah, that's
Mm.
horrible,
yeah,
man.
yeah, exactly. So Um, and I think Mum was behind that as well.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
you
that's a
did.
bit of a random synchronicity. 2 days before you was due to take her out, she said her spirit would have said no because the what you're going to lead on to, because there was a reason you stayed behind in the UK. There was a
Everything.
reason you
Yeah,
stayed.
Yeah, everything happens, man.
So so you were gutted that you had to stay behind. You'd been to see Claire. What happened after that? Because the route thing came out pretty soon after, right?
okay, so we went into lockdown, and then Claire invited me onto a webinar with Clayton and Dr. Dory and herself and a few other people. And I thought, well, there's nothing else to do. Why not?
Right.
Yeah,
And, Clayton started talking about that one of the root causes to disease is toxicity,
Mm,
and we're all toxic because of environmental toxins,
mm. Yeah.
which you can't escape from every
No.
time we
yeah.
breathe, every time we
Exactly.
eat,
Yeah.
every time we drink.
Heavy
You know,
metals.
just by
Metals.
being
Yeah. Yeah.
just by being outside or even inside, our skin is absorbing toxins because they're
Exactly.
everywhere, right?
Jake just said
Absolutely.
heavy metals. Heavy metals is
Yeah,
true. Clayton was big on the heavy
Yeah,
metals.
all of
Yeah.
it. Yeah, all of it.
Yeah.
Like what you just said now. It's like,
yeah. So,
mm,
and
And
then
at
he
the
started
point you
talking.
didn't at that point you didn't know much about them, right? You was a newbie,
No,
completely
no, no. I didn't know anything about
didn't know nothing.
toxicity, and
Yeah.
you know what?
yeah,
I started to get really angry, not with Clayton, but like, hang on a minute. I,
Interesting. Yeah.
all these
The world.
alternative practitioners that I took Mum to see,
Yeah.
not one of them
Talked
addressed
about.
toxicity or
Yeah.
wow,
talked
not
about it.
one. Jeez,
Crazy.
that's
Yeah.
nuts, man. That's one of the first things.
They,
Yeah.
they were happy getting their hundred,
Uh,
$200 pound.
of course.
And I might add, it goes a bit deeper
Of
because
course.
you're saying that the results to your mum weren't quite significant. I think you're making a contrast of results between the prior therapies that you spent loads on mum with, and then you're now comparing, I think, in your head, correct me if I'm wrong, with the root stuff, right? The what we know the
Yeah,
difference in the
yeah,
power of.
Gotcha.
yeah. Absolutely. I mean, there was marginal um, increase um, in uh, in her, you know, in so she got a little bit better, but not markedly better. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Like,
Hmm.
it wasn't. Yeah, there's a little bit of an improvement, but not massively so.
Yeah.
And I think had we addressed toxicity,
Yeah.
then there would have been a much greater improvement. I mean, the
Yeah.
guy who ripped us off for 5 grand, we spent a few days with him in his grubby little clinic, if you
Mm.
could call it that, in Surrey or Sussex. Um, he just like he didn't address it at all, and he was supposed to be a health guru.
It just shows you that so-called experts, they try to sell more of their pipe dream more than what they're actually doing. They saw the idea of them being a so-called um, expert because everybody's calling themselves experts. Have you guys noticed that?
Yeah, I was also thinking,
That's
whilst
the
you're
last thing I know when I call
I,
myself.
while you're saying that, yeah,
no,
yeah,
and whenever I do calls like this or whatever, I always say I'm just a regular guy. I'm not qualified.
Me
yeah,
too. Yeah,
I'm
that's
not,
good humbling. Yeah.
absolutely.
you know, I'm not, you know, because I just want to be real with
Yeah.
everyone. You
Was
know,
Authenticity is so
while you were saying that, I
underrated.
was thinking, well, it's not good business in a way to have something really powerful so someone doesn't come back. Yeah, keep it shallow and a little bit of improvements, but not super improvements, because super improvements means
Yeah.
you lose their money. I'm not saying that's the case with the people that we're talking about here.
And it speaks
Speaking
for
generally.
itself, the results. When the results speak for themselves, word of mouth and stuff like that. People don't have to, like, it's an infomercial.
Yeah,
They think it's
yeah,
an infomercial. Yeah, exactly.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it will speak for itself.
yeah.
yeah.
But,
But
mate,
no, with Root, we're seeing exceptional results with Root.
Hmm.
because
Um,
that addresses toxicity, yeah, from what you
yeah,
guys
yeah,
have
yeah. It gets rid
gotcha.
of heavy metals. It gets rid of pesticides like glyphosate. Glyphosate is
Yeah,
a major
That's
problem, especially in
big
the
one.
US.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, viral particles, small spores. It's really,
gotcha.
you know, yeah.
Also, the stuff from the, I don't want to say it
Yeah, yeah,
out
yeah.
loud,
You mean
might be banned.
the
Yeah.
medical, you mean
oh
the
yeah,
recent intervention?
yes,
Exactly.
very good for that. Yeah, exactly. The
Yeah,
Exactly.
intervention.
The research,
yeah, it's
yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
very, very good
For
for
the
that.
shedding and all that. That's good.
Yeah.
Mates,
Yeah.
you've had
Mm.
root bottles before.
Yeah,
I heard the story. Yeah,
yeah.
that actually happened to me with
Hi.
Harish, the
Yeah.
urine therapy.
No way.
Yeah, it happened to me
Oh,
the same
we fast
thing.
forwarded a bit to the story. Okay.
I thought it was green
Yeah,
cola.
yeah,
I said,
Tell me,
mate,
tell
yeah,
me.
yeah.
yeah, I had green cola. This is funny because
It's actually in
Harry
this
said the
room.
same
It's in this
thing.
room, right? Behind here.
On this desk that
Right
you're
here.
seeing
Yeah, yeah,
behind him,
yeah,
I left some green cola the previous night and I forgot I drank it, yeah? So
yeah.
the next morning I see it there. I'm like, okay, there's some green cola there. Urine sometimes looks
Oh,
like that.
you thought it's cola?
Yeah, I think it was cola, man.
Okay. Yeah,
Because the
yeah, yeah.
coloration was brown.
But you knew when you took
So
it, you see,
when I took it,
it
I'm
was
like,
like, what?
that's an interesting taste. I'm like, oh, Harish, that's your
Like-
piss, right?
Oh, no way,
Did you
man.
think of
He,
Sandy straight away then? I
I
think you
thought,
did.
I
I
said,
thought you thought
you
it was
gotta
like,
tell Sandy because
you thought straight away.
oh,
Because he told me
mate.
your story in the hotel, mate, and that was
Yeah,
like
Right.
there's a
something.
difference though. Mine was
Now,
fresh and not as
yeah.
bad. His was aged and nasty.
Oh, was it
Oh,
aged?
my.
Yeah, this is aged.
Bruv,
Well, this is more medicine.
his bottle had floaty bits in it.
I had floaty,
Oh
but it
yeah.
was years old. It
I
was
was
years old.
like, I, I
Oh
looked at the
man,
bottle and I realized what I'd done, and I just ran to the bathroom
He was like, he never
man.
shouts at
crying.
me. He was like, Harry, what have you done? He
I
didn't
did
shout-
the same,
he was
but
like,
I can
yeah.
imagine with age that's worse
Oh,
because
way
it's
worse.
more rank. Yeah.
Way worse. I would also gush
But
at
it's
someone
also
else's.
more medicine as well. We got our medicine, mate. So
Well,
No,
that's
with
true.
the UT
so,
therapy,
so
You both got a taste of your own medicine.
I prefer to
Harisha's
drink mine.
golden elixir. So, so what happened? Did you run to the bathroom to vomit?
Mate,
Did you?
I went and wiped my face, rinsed my mouth. But you know what? I think because it was fresh, it wasn't that bad actually. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, I'm
Oh,
DD.
If it was aged, it would have been different. It would have been
If it was aged, I
you'd have
would
been
have been like
disgusted. Yeah.
acting.
but
Yeah.
but you're not a pee drinker though, are you?
Oh, you've done
I
it
used
before.
to.
Done it
I
before.
actually, I've told many people I've done it 2, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Before
Okay.
I actually knew Harish the way I know him now,
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw it through other people. My skin was glowing, mate. My I felt lighter in my own body. I felt more grounded. I felt happier. Also, the shifts, your mood changes. So the Ayurvedic medicine people, they have something.
Nice.
They've got something
It's a
like
legitimacy to it. Yeah,
there's
of
some
course.
legitimacy to it.
But it's not for
Absolutely.
everyone. I know this. We know this.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll do it again though.
Yeah.
Harry and I actually want to create a course
Yeah, we will.
on urine therapy.
We'll have to get
I'd like
Sandy
to
in for a
also.
feature on the story as a bonus.
Oh
The
yeah,
bonus Sandy
Yeah,
story,
yeah,
the
do
bonus
that.
hour.
Yeah, yeah, do that. I'll be honored and privileged. And make sure you get a spell checker, Guru Jake.
Oh, spell checker.
oh,
Yeah, that's true.
absolutely.
Actually, you
And
need
an
spell
The spell
editor.
checker.
check too. Yeah.
And an
no,
editor.
Yeah.
no, mate. We want to also do a
Yeah.
semen retention course as well. We were thinking of doing that.
Okay.
Oh, very
Like,
powerful.
I've been doing a bit of a deep
Can
dive
can we
into
sidebar a little bit
that.
into do you experiment when you are with partners with these things, Sandy? Or is it too tempting? Because we get it, right? Guy, it's a very tempting moment to
Oh no, no, okay, so I do experiment, yeah. And you know what?
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I know we've got 5 minutes left.
We'll put another one
Um,
on part 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, no problem. I actually enjoy it when I don't spill my seed.
Oh, interesting
Gotcha.
More,
observation.
a bit more.
Interesting.
Because I tell you why. Um, when you do ejaculate, you
Mhm.
just get absolutely knackered and you just want to sleep.
Yeah,
Yes,
And
tired of me. Yeah,
absolutely.
tiredness. Yeah,
and
yeah.
obviously it flushes your energy and whatnot. But yeah, I do enjoy it. I do actually enjoy it when I don't.
Exactly.
And
And
yeah,
after
Gotcha.
too, do you ever find after that you don't even want to service your partner as much? The feeling and urges to look after her just sexually
yeah,
disappear?
I agree.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
completely.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Almost like a selfish thing, isn't it? In that
yeah,
after.
Funny
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
what you
yeah,
guys are
absolutely.
saying about brahmacharya semen retention. That woman
Is that what
Marakisha,
it's
I can't.
called, by the way?
Seem
Brahmacharya.
brahmachari is something
Oh,
good.
sorry, what you say, Sandy?
What's brahmacharya?
Hmm.
Oh, brahmacharya is I think the Vedic word, yeah,
It's the Vedic word for someone that retains semen.
someone who retains on that
Yeah.
path, yeah.
Yeah.
So this woman was saying, you get the householder, someone who has a partner, someone like you has a partner, you can still do it, and still you don't have to be monk-like with it. You can still
Yeah.
get good. You can have a spiritual awakening as a householder
Yeah.
and as a monk on the extreme end of the spectrum. So I thought that was fascinating. So it has its time and place, like the seasons, I guess, because a lot of people are very obsessed with it, and they go down the spiritual love and light, like we were talking about the brigade.
Too much with it.
Too
Yeah,
much,
Too
and
egoic with
yeah,
it.
it
Too ego with
becomes
it.
their ego. Yeah, it
Yeah.
becomes part of their ego. Like,
Yeah.
so it's good to
yeah,
find what
It is not.
works for
I'll give
you,
you
what
one
you
tip.
balance.
I'll give
Yeah,
you one tip that I've learned, and
shoot.
through practice and experiences. Like even if you do bust a nut, make it last. Don't do it within 5 minutes because it makes a difference. So if you have an hour, half an hour session of stimulation with your partner, and then you ejaculate, the difference in loss is huge and almost way less than if you were to do what is traditionally done in the world, I
Gotcha.
reckon, which is 5 minutes and then you're done. And then it's like a huge
yeah,
Good
loss.
point. Yeah,
So the longer you keep it in, the
I'm not
yeah.
more
sure. I'm
like,
not an expert, but that
Well,
yeah,
sounds interesting.
yeah, yeah.
Actually,
the
that's really
great sage Gary G is a massive proponent in
Well,
semen.
let's not dive too much into that
Let's
because
get him on,
the
mate.
great sage might have to
We
have
should move
his
forward.
own words on this.
Seriously, we should get Gary on too. And all four of
Yeah,
us like should do a specific podcast episode if you're down
yeah,
for
yeah.
it.
I'd love that actually.
All
That
four
would
of
Yeah,
actually
us,
be
man.
really
That'd be
good.
dope. But
Can I bring it back a
yeah,
bit to so okay, so you got on the route, and particularly the room cleat slate was the
yeah,
foundation at the time. It was only two products or one product at
it's
the time,
only
root clean slate.
one
Yep.
at the time.
So
gotcha.
you were working in events and you weren't so much as businessmen as you went on to become. So my question is, how did you think to work the business? So first of all, you were impressed, I guess, when you tried it for yourself, and then you
Okay,
thought in your
so
head to try other people to get involved.
well, what happened was during when we were all placed under global house arrest, there's nothing to do. Like everywhere was shut. We couldn't go out anywhere. And Tuesday nights webinars with Dr. Dory were amazing, and
Mhm.
they were so educational. So I just used to invite people onto that, and Clayton was on them, and we were sold. Like
Yeah.
everyone was sold
Mhm.
Nice.
because the education was absolutely phenomenal.
Hmm.
And Clayton used to answer. I know we've only got 1 minute left. Clayton used to answer all the questions, every question that anyone had. Back then, we had about tops 40 people. Most of the time, it's between 20 and 30.
It was a
Then
new
it just
product,
grew and
completely
grew and
new
grew.
during COVID. It came
Yeah,
out in February 2020, started between March
correct.
2020.
Yeah,
Yeah, February
just
2020,
in time.
just in time for
2nd of
COVID.
February.
Yeah.
So,
Again, we're going back to everything divinely ordained, like lined up like that. At least I feel
yeah,
that from
yeah.
Yes,
the
it
start, it
was.
was like, yeah, it was
It
like
was.
meant to be.
I,
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
Sandy, we'll see you back in a second. We're going to cut it short, this one. Yep. Next one.